entirely free and enjoy more of what the world has to offer. This action one, because this is where most human beings screw the pooch.
So a little one-person trampoline. Very,
I screen shared it. Like, there's no excuse. Like, phone numbers are just out there. You just got to pick up the phone, smile, and dial. So. Good morning, and good morning, and welcome back to another episode of the Talk to Sharon Morning Show, where we go over tips, tricks, ideas, and exercises to help make you the absolute best entrepreneur you can be, not only for yourself, but for the people you love and care about most. I'm back here in Illinois after a really fun Colorado trip. And wowza, my body is absolutely trashed. But we've had, I think we have a lot of, this works perfectly into this morning's episode because we want to talk about finding people who can push you to your limit. Yesterday, we had a really fun interview with my beloved brother and talking to him about outdoor adventures and then actually doing the outdoor adventures and pushing our bodies to higher thresholds. And it really got me thinking about how I'm able to, in both like academics, professional work, outdoor adventure, growing my relationships, how when I surround myself with people, the right people, I'm able to push myself a lot farther. So we're trying to take this ideology, and this morning, we're going to go over a few examples of why you should surround yourself with people who are better than you at things, or people who just are loving and supporting in this way, who can help push you. And say if they're pushing in a different arena or area, or they've been doing what it is that you want to do for a very long time. So you surround yourself with them and you're able to do it. There's something that's always stuck to me. Good morning. Thanks for tuning into the show this morning. They talk about how you can go a lot faster alone, but you go a lot farther together. And today's more about the together piece and finding yourself, whether it's you need to join a group or you need to just identify who you want to even surround yourself with. I know for a long time, and I'm sure a lot of people feel this way too, and I don't even know who to surround myself with to get done what it is I want to get done. I don't even know what I want to get done. So getting in that, maybe addressing a few of the things that maybe a broad category to start, maybe work backwards, maybe very ideally you want to do something. For example, I want to take my education company, this coaching company, to a certain level. So continuing to surround myself with one-person businesses, other business owners, with other coaches who have already hit certain sales volumes. They've already coached a certain number of people. Maybe they have a very particular process that is really helpful for me. So maybe getting in your own head, the idea of what it is that you want to do from a goal achievement standpoint, picking a broad category. Maybe it is health and fitness. I think the health and fitness space has always been, it's a lot more encouraging now, in my opinion, and a lot easier to get those people around you and in front of you to help push you. I just happen to have a brother who's really big into the outdoors and who's skillful and has a great understanding, and then also shout out to Evan Weaver, who one of his old college wrestling teammates, still a great friend, lives in the Denver area, and that dude can absolutely push in the outdoors as well. So surrounding yourself with people like this, and then I'm able to do so much more because they're in front of me, they're with me. I mean, we were like running on this trail. It's called the Skyline Traverse, and Evan was like singing these songs like while we're running. All I can think about is how bad my legs hurt, and But when you have like the encouragement, the positivity of like, oh, you can do this, you can keep going. It's incredible to me how much farther you can go. So let's maybe, if we go to the board, I wanted to write on good morning, good morning. Thanks for tuning in with us this morning. So we're trying to ask ourselves the question of like, who can push me? Who can push me? And we're going to do two kind of broad categories. So say if we have professionally, or we have personally. Professionally or personally, like who is maybe a possible mentor? Do you have a mentor? Do you have someone who you're looking for? Someone who can hold you accountable? You can also get a coach. Maybe you could get a coach, or maybe this is just a coworker, friend, a coworker, or like a friend. Hopefully you guys can read that. My chicken scratch isn't too bad this morning. Haven't written on this board in a little bit. So professionally, we're thinking who can push me. Maybe professionally, we're looking for a possible mentor. We're looking for a possible coach. We're looking for coworkers. It'd be surprised, or even like a friend or a family member. Maybe you're thinking personally like family. I was just talking about how family, I was talking about how my brother's been able to push me into the outdoors a lot more, and that's been very, very helpful. So maybe you're even thinking you're opening up. It's incredible to me. We're thinking, Tanner, there's no one who wants to push me or surround me. And it's really easy to feel isolated, especially maybe you're trying to start your own business. I know that was one of the things I discredited or I didn't really think about in entrepreneurship when I was first getting started was, wow, I actually spend a lot of time alone, and it's actually really hard to self-motivate all the time, it turns out. So talking about personally, I started talking a lot more about my profession with like my family and my friends. And I was very blown away by how many people were like, oh, have you thought about going about this way? Oh, have you thought about this way? Oh, I'm actually starting my own business. And then I started talking to them more often, and then we're bouncing back ideas, or they're just trying to challenge me and push me. So let's go ahead. These are just a few ideas, or maybe we're even thinking about social media. You're looking to possibly join a group. I had this actually go really well once. I'm usually like pretty hesitant on connecting with people socially or on like online versus being able to connect with them in person. But I joined this one real estate group a couple years ago, and then I got invited to chat with a few more people, and then we started going back and forth, and they actually pushed me, and then I was making some offers on some property. Good morning, let's win today. And being able to talk to about like, hey, I have this offer for this duplex. What do you guys think about it? And being able to go back and forth, or just these other people who are saying like, wow, I just made another 10 offers on rental properties that I want to buy. And then that gets my wheels going like, oh man, I really want to be able to keep up, or it's clearly their success is showing. So I need to follow the parameters that they're doing to get their type of results. And I'm not saying you got to live through them or their results, but the point is to be inspired, to show that it is possible, and to show like what it is you want to go. So maybe you're looking for people who can push you, and you're looking maybe for a social media group or something along those lines. But I just wanted to get some of those ideas up there on the board. Again, we can look for mentors, coaches, coworkers, friends, family members, social media. Who do we need to tell? Who do we need to talk to about who can push us? I like to think of There's a lot of work that we do in my 6-week course in the relationship section. I'm a big believer you really need to have your relationships anchored down. And a part of this is like looking at the people who are closest to you professionally and closest to you personally. And we need to be able to list these out. We need to list these. What is the reality of who I'm closest with today? And what makes the most sense with who I need to surround myself with to achieve my goals? I think it's very common to understand that we need to surround ourselves by a bunch of achievers, people who produce at a high level in order to do this ourselves. But the actions behind it sometimes can be very daunting because it's like, oh, I'm not sure how I can bring value to the table. I'm not sure what I can do for them. I'm not really even sure what I want. And transparency and honesty usually goes a really long way with this. I think people are looking to mentor other people or to look for these types of groups, but I think everyone's a little hesitant to reach out and ask initially because the verbiage is weird. I don't know what to say. You don't know what to say, but we both want to achieve our goals and we understand humans are social creatures and that we want to achieve. So maybe the challenge today is to take some self-control, to take some self-accountability, to take for ourselves the first effort, the first itch of reaching out to somebody who we've been thinking about lately. Maybe you want to talk to one of your friends about investing. Maybe you want to reach out to one of your coworkers about investing. Maybe you want to reach out to somebody online about professional development. Maybe you just need to be more confident on what it is that you do and you want to say. You're like, I'm looking for people who want to go. I'm looking for people who want to push. I'm looking for people who want to get so much more than just sitting around watching TV, eating Cheetos on the couch versus I've always really wanted to hike a 14er out in Colorado, for example. And then so you're looking for people who want to go out and hike, people who want to push themselves physically, people, or maybe you're doing some of my family members, a group of them, my girlfriend, my mom, and my sister, they had ran a 5K race together and just like some accountability, like, hey, it's starting on this date. We're going to meet up together and we're going to make a fun time of it. It doesn't need to be so serious, but I think it is serious that we surround ourselves with people who can and will push us because I think people get a whole lot farther together than when they're on their own. This is just from my own personal experience. So again, I really like to ask myself, who am I surrounding myself with? And maybe we could end with just a few stories. So the first story was talking about with Steve and Evan and doing the Skyline Traverse outside of Boulder, Colorado. It's a little under, you can do it there and back. I wonder if I can pull it up here on All Trails. I want to try and traverse Boulder Skyline Traverse. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to share my screen and show you guys this trail that we did. Good morning. Good morning. Let's win today. So this is the trail that we did. And this is not, so we didn't do the full bore of this. We actually did. On my thing, it said it was a little under 17 miles because we only did it one way. This is out and back, but this is through the four peaks. Do I need to create an account right now? Okay, let's just zoom in. Okay, so yeah, you go way farther than what I would have ever imagined, but this trail was really, really cool. I absolutely loved it. And I don't think I could have possibly done it without having people who have done it before, people who are really willing to push themselves. And that's kind of my point. So there was a lot of points where, you come to the point you want to quit and you don't want to keep going. But the camaraderie and the support of having other people around you, I think can really help people push you to the next level, to a level where you didn't think it was possible. I think humans are a lot more capable than we give ourselves credit to. And sometimes, And it's this pain and pleasure thing. It's so wild how it's on the seesaw where when you have a lot of delayed gratification and you're feeling a lot of a physical pain, for example, in exercise, the amount of pleasure that you can receive on the back end is immense. When I was riding home in the car and my legs were just not working, and I'm just laying there kind of seeing the sun start to set, it's really beautiful out. I feel like I'm so much more present because I have this mix of happiness and exhaustion and fulfillment. It's like, oh my gosh, yeah, totally did this, rocked this out. We ran a chunk of this trail. And yeah, it was definitely one of the harder things I've done in a while, but it was really, really worth it. It was really, really fun. And I highly, highly recommend people being able to surround themselves and pushing themselves physically. That's why I think so many of these like bike. So I see these cycling classes, these HIIT classes, personal trainer group training classes. I think that's a huge reason why I'm not a big fan of CrossFit. I think you people get hurt too much because you're kind of chasing fatigue, but I'm not going to critique that. But I think the group aspect of it allows people, because people in CrossFit are pushing at a really, really hard level, and a lot of people can wrap their mind around that. And I think that they're able to do that so consistently is because they're in a group effort and they're like, okay, Tom over here is pushing him to the absolute limit. Sarah over here, she's absolutely getting it. And it's really inspiring to me to be able to keep pushing it and get through the circuit or whatever the workout would be. I think physical references and working out is always really good examples. And then the other example, so I'll go ahead and exit my screen. So the other story would be, I was in my last semester of college and I was in this tech class where we were writing code and we were trying to like build out this application for the software that did like math. I am not a very tech person. I love having good tech. Like I'm really into Apple products. I like computers in general. I like to keep up with a lot of those things, very broad outside. I'm not in the depths of it. Let's just say this class was very, very difficult for me. Very, very difficult. I was terrible at the subject. I had a C go like halfway through the class, and I had never gotten a C in college. So I was starting to feel a lot of pressure, and my grades and a lot of my scholarships depended on not having any C's. So I was starting to get I'm sure you've been in this position before. You have a deadline, you're really stressed, a lot's going on. And then I finally asked 3 people in my class, shout out to Chris, John, and Tim. And I was like, hey, man, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm stressed out. I'm behind on these assignments. And then 2 of the guys were like, I kind of get it. And then one of the other guys, shout out to Chris, he was really getting it. He's like, okay, let's meet up once a week for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. And we'll start there and see if we can be really helpful. We met up for the first time. I got way more done in that 2 hours than I did the previous 20 hours just sitting at home by myself, just grinding, stewing, rereading the chapters, looking up YouTube videos, and I just couldn't figure this stuff out. And then I got so much farther with these people and they were pushing me. And then it turns out we had a lot to get done, a lot to do and a lot to get done. So we're really pushing each other. We're trying to do the most that we can. And then I was just able to get so much more done in a group setting. So I always like sharing that story. I ended up getting a B in that class, not an A, but it was better than a C. I thought the final project and the final were going to absolutely, totally dismantle my grade, but thankfully with the right support and the right help, but I had to be in a position to be vulnerable enough to ask for help, right? I think it can be very easy to not want to ask for help. So this morning let's ask ourselves, who can push me? What areas do I want to be pushed in? Maybe it's physical activity. Maybe you just need support. You need a coach to help you push you to help figure out more things of what you actually want out of your life. Or maybe in a professional setting, you need to surround yourself with people who are going to help you push and reach out to more people, do the necessary things that are going to allow you to grow and develop your business. That's all I had for today. Is I wanted to get this idea out of when I find people who will help me push both professionally and personally, my life goes so much farther. It feels so much fuller. And it just makes a lot of this crazy stuff, whether it's these insane hikes in Colorado or whether we're trying to build out companies and make a bunch of money, we're trying to help a lot of people, a lot more fun, a lot more enjoyable, and a lot more productive. I hope you guys found some of these tips, tricks, and ideas very helpful. That's all I have for today. And you'll be catching me back here with another live episode tomorrow morning, Wednesday, May 3rd. Wednesday, May 3rd. It's already May 3rd. Holy cow. Let's take advantage of May 2nd, though, because once the sun goes down, poof, it'll be the next day. So we got to try and enjoy it as much as possible. It goes fast. Nothing's permanent. So let's take advantage of the day. Let's have a good one. Cheers to you all. Have an incredible day. And I'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time with another episode of the Talk to Tanner Morning Show. Thanks so much for tuning in. Catch you guys on the next one. Until next time. Peace. Ooh.